he had the grind off, like the Christmas grind off. And so we had been working on shit. So, and I guess that was like the first nursing song.
That's right. I completely forgot about that, actually.
We wrote like a fucking 4-minute song about like going to the mall and like stripping naked in front of Santa Claus or something. And, like it made no sense.
Perfect sense.
And exactly. And
sounds like a grindcore.
And I just remember being like, oh, I actually kind of like this. And then we sent it to the grindcore thing, and someone was like, who wrote a 4-minute song? What an asshole. What's a needle play, asshole?
Welcome to the 46th episode of the Cassidins Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the mathcore and mathcore adjacent community. If you beautiful people in chat have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in. I'll try to read them aloud. If you like to sub for $5, you get access to some exclusive emotes, as well as access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and streaming services. You can also sub for free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this in your car and have no idea what I'm talking about, the show is first shown live on Twitch. Join us every Sunday and Wednesday at twitch.tv/thecassidins for the live cast. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest tonight, who dropped their disgusting debut album, Self-Care, last Friday on Dark Show Records. Welcome in Nursing. How's it going, guys?
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you guys. What's up?
I was saying despite the mixing, it actually turned out pretty
good. So tell us who you are, what you do in the band.
You want to go?
Yeah, you go first.
I'm Jonathan. I do vocals for Nursing.
And you wrote it too, so.
Yeah, I'm Tony. I do guitar, and for Self-Care, I also program drums and did bass. And and this is Pete.
I'm Peter,
newest addition to the team. He's the one who wasn't on Self-Care. He just joined when it started getting attention.
But, I was like,
he was like, fuck this. And he's like, oh, okay, actually.
No, actually, it's a cool story if I can speak for
myself. Go for it.
So basically, these guys have been, for the past couple months, they've been getting together and writing Self-Care. And I was like, they showed it to me, hey, what do you think of this new stuff? And it's really good. And I was like, yeah, if, when shows get back up again, if you ever want a bassist, let me know, And then the next thing I know, it's like, hey, practice this Sunday. We're going to be writing some stuff. Get in here. Yeah. And so I love that. It's really cool. But I was not on the first album at all, just spiritually, as support, moral support.
Yeah.
So not at all.
Yeah, he was there when I was up till 3 a.m.
Yeah,
playing guitar.
If
he was like, "You should probably go to bed." I assume that was you.
I was the one just putting Benadryl in your soda, so that you were getting better at music.
Yeah.
So why'd y'all go with the name Nursing?
I honestly, it wasn't taken. I wanted to do Nurses, but there's 5 bands and a bunch of DJs called Nurses. I like Nursing because it was something I had taken from some fucking book on psychoanalysis, where I was talking about how you're always nursing your wounds, even when you seem to be doing well, you're always just sort of recovering from trauma. And that's what I like about sort of heavy music, especially super chaotic, dark shit. Is it's sort of allowing you to process the sort of trauma in your life, or even just day-to-day anxiety and stuff. I don't when I listen to heavy music, I'm not at all anxious. I'm at ease because it's sort of channeling that. So I don't know. That's, I guess, why I like the name.
So your music is kind of nursing us then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I tried to write for this. I think what's different from anything else I've written is I didn't really care, and I just wanted to write something that I wanted to listen to. You know what I mean? I didn't really, and at first, like, we weren't even gonna like really share it. We were just sort of writing shit for ourselves, and it was like not really taking it seriously at all.
We had another project we didn't do.
Yeah. We were like pretty much just writing stuff that like we wanted to listen to for ourselves.
Well, that's what you got to do, right? You can't write stuff to try to get famous or whatever. You know, you got to do what you like actually like. You know.
Yeah, but I think like I guess in the past, it would more be like. Sort of exploring new, especially when you start getting like more like technical instrumentation, you're sort of like exploring new stuff, and it might not be stuff that like you listen to personally, right? Even though you're not like trying to like impress or get famous, you're just trying to like explore musically. Like this was like, what do I want to listen to? Like if I am going on a run, like what is the kind of album that I would put on and jam out to?
Okay, I gotcha. Like you're not doing something different just to be doing something different. It's something that you actually dig.
Yeah, like needle play. Like I wrote a lot of needle play, but like I don't fucking listen to needle play. But no, I'm just kidding. But a lot of needle play.
You should listen to needle play.
Yeah, anyone
Dude, needle play's dope. You guys are sick.
Well, no, I just mean like that kind of music. A lot of that stuff I was just sort of doing to like explore things like musically, even though it wasn't the kind of music I was listening to at the time. Or like I listen to a lot like darker shit, like like meth or
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Very dark
Dude,
stuff.
Taylor Swift's so fucking heavy, man.
Actually, that's interesting you mentioned her too, because she's very popular, right? But like, there's something about the creative process that when you make something that is something that you love and it's very personal to you, that you may not have a wide audience, but you have a focused audience that identifies twice as much. You know, you have half the audience that identifies twice as much. And I think those are the type of people that, this community can really like, that's like the type of people that we are,
Yeah, exactly. It's totally the mathcore scene.
Yeah.
You'll get somebody from California that's like, yo, dude, I smashed my skull into your music.
People have Tony, like me and Tony will be watching TV and be like, dude, this guy just texted me out of the blue. Was like, I really love your music. That's so cool.
Oh, you want to hear another nice one? Cricket Slams in the chat says recent release was fucking mind blowing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I did everything.
And it did cost me my sanity because I stayed up for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And I had to go to work. And it was like listening to my demos like at work. When I like you were sending me like notes when I was at work, and I would like send you little like voice recordings. I have to hide.
It's like in the corner, just like singing to yourself.
Little beats to you because you like had to know the right positioning and stuff.
Oh, dude, that last part was actually pretty hard getting the last song put together. But so anyway, you guys started this project this year, correct?
Yeah. I mean, so we were kind of fucking around with stuff like back in December, and then Jay, shout out Jay, everyone's favorite. He had the grind off, like the Christmas grind off, and so we had been working on shit. So, and I guess that was like the first nursing song.
That's right. I completely forgot about that. Actually,
we wrote like a fucking 4-minute song about like going mall and like stripping naked in front of Santa Claus or something. And, like it made no sense. That made perfect sense. And exactly. And
sounds like a grindcore.
And I just remember being like, oh, I actually kind of like this. And then we sent it to the grindcore thing, and someone was like, who wrote a 4-minute song? What an asshole.
What's a needle play, asshole? Fucking superfluous. Yeah.
Just like extra stuff. But and so that was technically like the first one. So I don't know. I think Jay has that song somewhere. So
he has a Bandcamp, I think, with all of them on it.
Yeah. So you can go and check that out. I forget what it's called.
That's like the first
like shit miss or something.
Just with Mr. Piss.
Yeah, Christmas. Yeah, that was the first nursing song. And then we were like, all right, if we want to do this, we should probably like take ourselves a bit more seriously.
That was gonna be the name, but that was taken. So it was a DJ.
Yeah.
So y'all started like actually writing like for this record this year then, or was it still in the
I think it was like January, like right after I had visited my parents for like Christmas and New Year's, and when I came back, I texted Jonathan and I was like, we should actually do a full thing with this. So yeah, we wrote it quickly too.
I was gonna say y'all went from just beginning to write this to releasing your debut album in like a little over 3 months. That's pretty insane.
It's honestly, it is easier with less people because everyone's got their own schedule, everyone's working, and if it's just the two of us, I could just like write something and then send him files, and then he would send something back, and we could just finish the song in like 2 days.
Right, and I can also
keep doing that.
I can speak to the level of dedication that Tony puts into his music because I live with him.
It's insane.
You know what I mean? Like it'll be like 1:32 in the morning, and like I'm watching fucking Forensic Files, and like there'll be like silence on the TV for a second, and I just hear because he has headphones on. Like it's strings, and I'm just like, oh, I should fucking practice. I mean, I get so like very obsessive with that stuff, but it's like it's awesome. Like I come home from work and I'm like, all right, like now I get to do my actual work. It's a healthy work that makes me like happy.
Well, so it sounds amazing, but you ever think about like just taking like another month or something and making sure it's all like, you know, perfect? Like it seems like if you could do this in this short period of time, then a longer period of time should make it even better. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean, what I wanted is like, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting older, and I'm like, if I'm gonna start a new project that I'm gonna put a lot of work in, I need like a baseline album, like something I can't promote with no reference, right? Like it's really like I don't know, like and so I was like, I'm just gonna rush and get something out, and then depending on what the response is, I'll put in like as opposed to 2 months, like a year of work, and maybe like another 6 months of like promotion. But I need something like as the bedrock to be like, hey, I'm promoting a new album. If you like this previous album, you'll like this album. But if I don't have that previous album, then people are like, why the fuck out of the millions of bands right now would we want to listen to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So the FFO I've been seeing going around about you is Psyopas, Tony Danza, Car Bomb, Noise Trail Immersion. I would also compare you guys to like Fawn Limbs and even Methwitch at some times.
Yeah.
What are your influences?
I ripped off Fawn Limbs. I was listening to Fawn Limbs all the time.
You got cut off a little bit. What was that you said?
I'm gonna go listen to Fawn Limbs.
Yeah.
Oh, you're ripping off Fawn Limbs?
No, I was just like listening to them a lot.
Yeah.
And I would be like, ooh, that's a cool idea. I'll kind of make it mine, but I'm also stealing it.
What are some of y'all's other influences?
Sorry?
What are some of y'all's other influences?
So a big thing that I got into recently, and I'm sure like they're way more, they like really blew up since 2019, is a band called Chat Pile. You know, they're not mathcore. Oh, dude, you have to check out it.
Chat Pile? Like chat, CHAT pile?
Yeah, so it's a type of, it's like Left Behind in mines. They're from Oklahoma. Like after a mine is abandoned, they leave a bunch of like what's called chat, which I assume is like some sort of residue from that mine. And it sort of symbolizes like the forgotten people of like the fucking late capitalist America. But I would say Chat Pile, do you know the band Wilsiacs? One of the guys from Wilsiacs, they're fucking sick.
Oh.
One of the Wilsiacs showed me Chat Pile, and it just blew my fucking mind. I was like, this is the most authentic, like terrifying, just mental breakdown music. And they're not very technical at all. It's like all pretty much 3/4/4/4 stuff, but it's just, they create it's like post grindcore where they like clearly used to be grindcore, like, and they slowed down and focused more on like sort of soundscapes and composition. And they have a spoken word vocalist, sort of this sludge post grind slow stuff over this, and the vocalist sings over that, and the vocalist is like, it's like spoken word, but it's also sort of like yelling, and at each song you just listen to their vocalist like have a full on like mental breakdown, and you feel it, like you feel like you're having a mental breakdown. And each song I like get like chills, like, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I would definitely say. And so I think that was another thing that really influenced me, where I wanted to get more. I wanted to get like write stuff that was a lot darker and a lot more sort of
Emotional.
Emotional, yeah, and sort of like, and you kind of have to have parts that aren't. You can't just have straight up technicality throughout the whole album. To you know what I mean? You have to have more dynamics, and part of the dynamics is just making things simpler and just like more accessible, more like groove oriented and stuff.
It's like contrast.
Yeah, it's a good contrast where it's like there were some needle play, like the Death by Dying was pretty much just like straight fucking technicality, like all the way through, which was cool in itself. But I wanted to do something that was just like a bit more balanced. And
Is
so
that
there
why you
are-
brought synths in?
Yeah, that was another reason, and like I don't know, it's just something I was curious about. I love like synthwave stuff, but it's like way too happy for me. And so I wanted to have like sort of dark, like disturbing
There are
synths.
Some like harmonies and
And there also is kind of like a cynical aspect to the synthwave culture and vaporwave culture, where like it's these people who are so fed up with the current reality that they live in this perpetual like nostalgia for the 80s and 90s because they keep misremembering about how awesome it was for them. Like, and it was probably awesome because they were children at the time and they hadn't been informed on how fucked up the world is and how they're over them. And so they yearn for that time. And like that in itself to me is so haunting and disturbing that like you're just constantly looking at the rear view and trying to like revitalize a time that is like just dead. And instead of like looking to the future. So that's why I like synths a lot, is because it adds that element for me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said about traditionalism and how, you know, being super strict to traditions, you know, you will eventually, they become obsolete. You know, growth is the most, I think, important thing in art, you know, except garbage art. I like old paintings. There's way more talent involved, but so there's,
All right, Ben Shapiro. It's not technically art. It's, my child. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's another influence. Psyopus, actually, I've never had a guitar lesson, but then I saw that Psyopus got Chris Artman dude was doing like $20 lessons, and I was like, holy fucking shit. So I like contacted him immediately and I bought a bunch of lessons, and he gave me like 4 lessons, and that dude is insane. But he actually opened my eyes up to a lot of like tapping techniques, because he just is like completely unhinged when it comes to tapping. And it's stuff that you might have been able to do technically before, but it's just like sort of thinking outside the box, like, oh my God, I never knew you could do that. I never knew you could do a chromatic run on the entire guitar for a riff and like as fast, tapping as fast as you can, but you can do that.
Was it as like worth it as it seems like it would be to talk
Oh,
about?
if you're trying to get into like more math rock or math core guitar, or even like any kind of guitar, he does everything. But I think, I don't know if this is true, but I saw some interview with him where like he was in jail and
Yeah.
he didn't have a guitar. He just had like the neck of a guitar, or like even
It's a
like
piece of wood. Yeah.
wood that he was just like constantly like that is awesome to me. That is like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. That it's like this fucked up situation, and like the only way to get him that he can get himself through is by like learning mentally playing the guitar via playing a piece of wood like in a jail cell. That is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
And he
it's
is
crazy.
insane. He's really good. And it's like $20 for the fucking best guitarist in the world. You go fucking do it.
yeah.
I have a big Chris Art poster I kiss every morning.
Little altars.
Yeah.
So you guys have this dirty, fast sound, along with what you were talking about, more catchy, like pretty passages, I would say. One of my favorite points is Skincare Masking Set, where you have like the falsettos going on and stuff. It seems completely out of left field, but it's such a good way to separate yourself from the pack. Are we gonna be hearing more like falsettos and shit in the future?
Yeah, that was all Jonathan.
I think,
He just,
we could do that.
I didn't even really, but I know Jonathan. I don't know if you want to talk, but Jonathan actually does a lot of like real poppy stuff.
Yeah, so I was messing around with pop for a bit, and I was like practicing that kind of vocal style, and I could definitely bring that in, especially for some of the fucked up synthwave type stuff. I feel like that would work really well.
Yeah.
Well, is that not a falsetto then that I'm hearing on a skincare masking set? There's a point where you're really high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we could definitely do like more of that type of singing when we bring in more synthwave.
Yeah.
I think it sounds really, really good. What made you want to put that in?
I just felt that song was kind of like haunting, especially just the low parts in the guitar combined just with it just felt like that would make it a little bit more like bittersweet instead of just bitter. And I was just like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna try it and see how it sounds, and I liked it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we write, which is just fuck it, I'm gonna try it. And then half the time, or like 90% of the time, you're like, oh, that doesn't work. But then when it does work, you're like, all right, that's cool.
Well, I think that y'all really struck a nice, unique spot for where you guys fit in the genre. I don't think I've heard any band that really sounds quite like you guys. So good shit. Y'all did a good job.
Thank you.
So what's the writing process like? Tony, when you're sitting down, you just like messing around on your guitar and coming up with riffs like that? Or do you have like structures in mind as you're going into it?
Yeah, I mean, I typically it's hard for me to write an album because I get really obsessed with it where I'm just like constantly thinking about it. So like even when I'm at work, I'm kind of thinking like, all right, what kind of song do I want to write? Or like what kind of part do I want to write when I get home? And so I kind of like sketch out an idea. And so when I sit down and play, I kind of know like where I'm headed, and that makes it a lot easier. But yeah, sometimes to get off the ground, I'll spend like just 4 hours like fucking around playing nonsense and like trying out different things. But then other times it's much more streamlined where I'll have like just part, and I can carry it out really easily. Yeah. The super technical, like linear, non-repetitive stuff, that can be really cool to get into just like mentally, because I'll sit for like 4 hours and then at the end I'm like, I don't even remember what the fuck I wrote. I feel like I just blacked out and like had that, because you're just going like part. And it's actually a good way to write for like anyone who wants to write linear, non-repetitive stuff like that, because you can kind of, in the moment, you can kind of feel like what should come next, right? As opposed to like writing a bunch of parts separately and then trying to like piece them together. And you just start with nothing and then just sort of like write as long as you can. And then I started doing that with needle play, and then I sort of carried that technique into
Wedding Cake. You showed me kind of how to do that, like those intro guitars.
So
my guitar part.
He actually did a guitar on the album as well. He did on like Floral Wedding Cake, which I thought was awesome. That's actually like my favorite guitar parts because he's a lot more like groovy than me. But he was playing and he had a bunch of ideas, and I was kind of walking him through like
putting them together.
Yeah, like how you write in that linear, non-repetitive fashion, and like how you can make things a bit more, give it a bit more kick without completely compromising the riff. Like I think with a lot of mathcore stuff, like the way we're programmed is just play in 4/4. So you'll come up with a lot of riffs that will be in 4/4, and they'll be good ideas. And you're like, I want to make this like kind of more like chopped up, and like maybe I want to use a weird timing, or maybe I want to like put something weird in the middle. And so it's good to start with a 4/4 idea and then to like modify it a bit or add shit. Because if you set a grid of like anything, like especially if you don't write in a lot of odd time signatures, if you set like a 7/8 grid and you're trying to come up with something in the moment to that, it's not going to happen. It will happen eventually once you start writing, like once you just keep modifying your parts more and more to be odd time signatures. We were just trying to come up with an odd time signature part, having not written like that before. It's just not going to happen. I think that's a huge barrier for people trying to write in odd time signatures, and like with sort of weird timing or weird syncopation and stuff. You have to start like really simple and what comes naturally. Like,
It's a very interesting piece of advice. I never heard anybody describe like a writing process like that, where you start in 4/4 and then change it up to to be a different time signature and stuff. It's really interesting.
yeah, because a lot of times, like, because we're just programmed, just because all the music we listen to is in 4/4, like growing up. So you're programmed in 4/4. Like even if you listen to fucking Calculating Infinity every day, 40 times a day, you're still gonna be programmed in 4/4, which means like a lot of the ideas that you like feel rather than stuff that you just write like out. Like I don't know, I like to write. You know the meme? It's like, oh, it's all feels, man. It's like it is all feels. Like, and in my opinion, like those where the best riffs come from. And so a lot of the riffs that you like feel that come from some sort of like unconscious place inside you, that they're going to come out as 4/4, and don't throw them out because they're probably really good.
Just add another
Just
two.
add stuff, yeah. Add a beat, or, like,
That's literally
modify it a
Yeah.
bit,
Just
add some
fuck
like
it up.
weird
Yeah.
syncopation to
1
it.
4 and
Yeah.
I've noticed because we're writing a little bit more stuff now, and we might have a part, and then we're like, all right, now we have this part, let's add this in the middle of it. All right, now this is what it is. All right, now let's add this at the end, and now let's do it twice, and now let's do it again this way, and it starts to get built. So it may be linear part by part by part when you listen to the finished product, but actually we don't build it part A, part B, part C. And this is something that actually I've learned by, from being a needle play and practicing with nursing too. It's just like, you want to do the 4 and you just like, let me add one more beat to that. And now it's 5, and it's that simple.
Yeah. And then another thing important to that is to kind of like, while you're adding stuff, like, don't just add stuff randomly. Like you have to have some like reason why. Like there's a lot of technical bands that I hear that are like very technical and the composition is crazy, but it just seems very random to me. Like
Just a flurry of riffs, flurry of notes. I mean.
Yeah. It's just like a gish gallop of like insane shit, and you kind of have to
Wait! A gish gallop?
Yeah, gish gallop.
I've literally never heard that.
Thing where gish galloping is where if you're in a debate, like we're arguing about like Chinese politics or something, and then instead of making a good argument, I just bombard you with a bunch of shit that you will never be able to respond
So
with.
it's like,
So I'm just like shooting random facts or random like tidbits at you. Let's go gish galloping.
Alrighty. learn something new every day. So you seem like the kind of musician that records as he writes. Like, did you memorize all this stuff and then you record it all, or were you recording it as you went through?
Yeah. I'm memorizing it now because we're trying to play it live, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's a lot. No, I write as I go along for sure. But I will. I mean, I don't want to ever do something that I can't play. Like I don't want to write parts that I'm not going to be able to like reproduce live. Like I don't speed anything up, and I wouldn't do a song that is like out of my capacity. And I mean, if anyone does that, I don't really have any problem with that. But it's just like I don't know. It's like a pride thing.
Yeah, like
he's the same way, and he's probably more extreme about this, Jonathan. Like especially with piano,
with the piano part, for
where
sure.
like he will not do a take. He will not record a song unless he can do like pretty much the whole thing without fucking up, which I don't care about. So it's a pride.
No, that's really cool. That's actually a really talented thing. But like when I'm tracking bass, like for needle play or like we were learning nursing, it's really important to consider, because you're tracking this part. Now we're like, all right, now this is the next part. It's important to consider, can I play this part and then go right into this part without missing a beat?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is always an interesting, you go back and you're like doing this, and then suddenly you're like way up here, and
It's
So
supposed
there's
to be
some-
back down here again.
So if you're,
Yeah,
if
I know.
you're tracking part for part, it's definitely something to consider.
No, that is that with nursing. Like now that I'm learning it and getting, that is absolutely the hardest part. It's not like the riffs themselves; it's the transition because you'll be like doing chugs down here, and then I have to do like some tapping thing up here, and I'm using a whammy pedal, and then I'm going back between those things, and I'm just like, fuck this! Like I need another guitar player.
Lots of finger acrobatics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's crazy to watch.
So you recorded all this yourselves. What's your recording setup like?
I can show it to you. It's just a computer with
Windows 98
Yeah.
microphone,
Yeah.
Bunch of wires all over
Fruity
the place.
Loops free version.
$45 microphone. Yeah.
Reaper.
I do have a lot of pedals though. I definitely splurged this last pedals. That's my analog.
He's getting me into pedals
Yeah,
now.
it's
And
the shit.
just like
I used to be so
layer.
like stubborn about pedals. I was like, do people just use pedals as a crutch? Like, and then
I hear
started
that a
getting-
lot.
Yeah, and then I got into them, and I was like, I have
Same
new
thing with like
addiction.
lower,
Like,
like 7 strings and stuff like that.
yeah, I
Like
used to
that.
say that too. Now I have a string, and I love it. But I mean, I think people use anything as a crutch. I don't know. I think, like they're you know that band Portrayal of Guilt.
Yeah.
Dude, their pedal game is on. It's the most like theatrical, insane shit. And a lot of it is just like they're so good at choosing tones, and like they're also amazing musicians, whatever. But like that was a band where I was like, I couldn't write like this without using pedals or like without really caring about tone. And like honestly, I could say that about pretty much any album that I like. I used to not care about tone at all because I was like, oh, it's all about the playing, man. But that is just like the most. I think it was like a rejection to the overemphasis on tone, which I saw from like like the gent community,
Oh, yeah.
which is like they don't really give a fuck about like anything except tone. And then I was like, all right, well, I sort of went the other way, which is equally stupid. And so now, yeah, I put like tone ahead. I think that's honestly like a big thing that separates nursing from like the stuff I've written before. It's like I really put a lot of like time into finding like the perfect arrangement of pedals and yeah, just putting tone ahead.
Yeah.
How many pedals do you use? Like for your tone or whatever. Like how many pedals do you actively use?
So like there's just the pedals that I use. So like I guess with the distorted guitar for a lot of it I would just have like I would have just a whammy, and then I just use distortion just through the just as a plug-in. I mean, you know this, but I would have like on deck just an arrangement of just random pedals so that if I could turn them all on, it would have this crazy like noise, sort of just
Okay.
explosion. Yeah, like I would put a synth, I would put like this weird chorus thing that I have that has this weird playback thing, and I'll turn it all the way up so it has some crazy feedback on it, and I would be playing riffs, and then I just play a random chord, put all my pedals on it, would create this weird noise, and then I could like write riffs around that.
I was interviewing another band. I want to say it was Black Sheep Wall, and they said that they have like a shit ton of pedals, like 10 or 12 of them, and they're all used just to make noise. That has nothing to do with their actual like guitar and stuff. So
Yeah, but that's true. But like I'm trying to put the noise like in the riffs. You know what I mean? Like where you're playing something and then you just make noise for a certain amount of beats, and then you go back to the riff. So it's not just like background noise. It like is the riff.
yeah, for sure. That's kind of what I mean too. I'm remembering that you got that one song with the really noisy thing. I can't remember what it is now, but there's one that really sticks in my head. I know exactly what you're talking about. So I ended up mixing and mastering this. There's all my questions about mixing and mastering right there out the window. Let's move on to lyrics. Jonathan, you write the lyrics?
Mostly Tony.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like split. He does all the. I'll like send him a bunch of stuff and then he'll like piece it together and like put it into the song. But I'll just send him like a bunch of random
Like a stream of consciousness.
yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
he pieces it together. He makes it like fit into the song.
Okay. Well, I think that your lyrics are really good. They're not so like what do you call it? So full of metaphors and imagery that it just gets like lost in the translation. Like it's straightforward enough to hold my attention, but it still like makes it a cool image in my head, you know? One of my favorite passages is from Floral Wedding Cake. I dreamt our wedding cake melting into a wet resentment. A family of rats rushed to eat the remains. I woke up and laughed alone while you slept loudly, each snore and groan reminding me of this prison. That is so good. That's so dark and brutal. So who hurt you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that was like taken straight from, I mean, you know, like at the end of a bad relationship where the other person's existence and like anything that they, just the way they snore, the way they eat is just maddening and you want to, and agonizing. But yeah, I think I've had like a bunch of fucked up relationships until now. I'm happily engaged. But
Oh, you're engaged. Nice. Congrats.
thank you, man. Yeah. And Pete's basically our son at this point.
I prefer
Yeah.
dogs. I'm the
Yeah.
family dog.
This is bad.
But careful.
But yeah, no, I mean, I've had pretty
Great
bad-
training, you know.
So these are all like based on actual like relationships and stuff. Then it's not like stories.
Partially. I mean, I think you need to kind of go through a fucked up relationship to like really like to put yourself there. You know what I mean? Like, but no, I'm not. I mean, these the people in this in self-care, it's all like fictional. It's not like straight up from my directly from
like
Inspired.
Yeah, because I feel like you can only draw so much from yourself. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
because like our lives are pretty boring.
Yeah, my life was pretty boring and like, you know, I had like 2 bad relationships, and after I write 2 songs, one about each relationship, I'm kind of fucked. I have to-
So do you have a lyrical inspiration, like a writer or like a lyricist that really inspires you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I don't really there's one. So do you ever hear the band Drug Church
No.
or Self Defense Family?
Nope.
So there's this. So I used to not really give a shit about lyrics at all. Like this is sort of back when I was like 20, and especially with like heavy music, because I'm like I can't even hear what they're saying. I don't care.
You're
And-
describing my position exactly, actually.
Yeah. But there's this band Drug Church that I started listening to. It's like they're like a punk band, like a hardcore band, and their lyricist is a fucking genius. And he's like so good at not being like pretentious, but being very profound and very high verbal acuity without being like superfluous or anything. He touches a lot on like just what it means to be like young these days. Like, and I resonated with it so much. His name's Patrick Kindlin is his name. That was a huge lyrical inspiration for me. Where I was like, I didn't realize that you could touch on like adult concepts in like heavy music. I thought it was all just like, oh, the demons are running from
Cannibal Corpse.
like shit like that. I was listening to it at the time, and I was like, and it kind of like shifted toward thinking about heavy music as like an adult genre that you can use to process adult emotions, right? Rather than just like holding on to the bands that I was listening to when I was like 13 and had like sort of like 13-year-old angst towards nothing. And there's also a Pig Destroyer. So the vocalist from Pig Destroyer has like incredible lyrics, and they're very very sort of gothic and like very sensitive. It's funny contrast between like the just wavering, like merciless pounding that you get from their music, and then it's just this like beautiful poems that he's reciting.
Yeah, isn't like Terrifier supposed to be like a love, like an album that's like a love story or something?
Yeah, it's beautiful, dude. And they have like, you know, the typical like grindcore like tracks, like, you know, the track on that album, Towering Flesh.
Fuck yeah, dude. Got a solo in that. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, that was actually another dude. That's not Scott Hall. That was
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
yeah. Because I was like, damn, Scott can fucking sweep. And then apparently he like got his friend to do it. You know, Scott. I think Scott Hall is like he like does software for the government or something like that. This is such a funny like world where he's in like the most punishing grindcore bands, and he's also like a suit and like works in an office. But anyway, like that song in particular, that album, where if you didn't know what the lyrics are, you're like, oh, I assume he's just like talking about like cutting his dick off and like throwing it at the woods.
I wasn't assuming that, but now I am.
Yeah. But it's like this lovely like love. They're all like lovely love poems to it. Lovely love poems. They're all these like very well written poems that he has. He's clearly like extremely sensitive and you know, affectionate and stuff. And I love that contrast of like the sensitive writer and like the brutal music, because that's like what it kind of, that's what like being sensitive is. It's like fucking horrible.
It hurts.
Yeah, it sucks. It's not like when I hear like you know, the ukulele songs about love and tragic breakups and stuff, I don't really feel anything.
Yeah.
When I hear
It's
like,
too damn happy.
yeah, when I hear Pig Destroyer, I'm like, oh my god! Like I have cried to Pig Destroyer songs. Like it's
Damn.
beautiful when you have like that, like that. I'll listen to like the most emotional like piano, like sort of mainstream top 10 fucking love song things, and it's just, you feel nothing.
Yeah.
But then you hear Big Destroyer and you're like, no. And also like
It's very sincere.
it's very
Yeah, that's what I was
sincere.
talking about.
And when you hear it at first, you don't know what the lyrics are because you can't make them out. And then when you go and read it, it's almost like retrospectively, you're like, holy shit, that's what he was talking about. That's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you listen to sung lyrics, you're listening to it in the moment, where it's like, with screaming, a lot of times you have no idea what they're talking about. So you have to go and read the lyrics after, or I guess during, typically after you listen to it once. And then that's almost like more impactful. You know what I mean? Because
I never cried to an album before, so I don't know that much.
you gotta open up.
I cry all the
You're
time.
repressed.
I think I got a little teary-eyed when I was listening to Pink Floyd once, but that's about it.
Were you tripping?
No, I wasn't tripping.
Cry a lot when you trip.
Crying is a great mix.
But yeah, dude, I cry all the time for music, especially having. It feels awesome.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
release.
it's fucking awesome.
It's like coming out of your eyes.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly,
Like, when I was a kid, you know, you get CDs back when Strawberries was a thing. I'm old. But you'd get the lyrics book and you'd sit there, like, especially with heavy music, and you can read like the lyrics book that comes with the CD, and like that was like very
Dude, that was my childhood, man.
yeah, okay, I don't know how old you are, but like
I'm
that's-
30. I'm 30.
All right, sweet. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, man, I would go down to the CD warehouse, buy some CDs, bring them home, listen to it like that, rip that shit on my computer, then take it back and sell them back to the CD warehouse, get some more CDs, and continue this. We had a little racket back in the day. So the song titles are all just normal household items. Like, what made you want to do the song titles like that?
Yeah, I think like kind of goes into what we were talking about with the album concept. I don't know if you like the general concept
theme of the album.
The theme of the album, which is like sort of seeing relationships with other people as commodities
Transactions.
in transactional. And so it's like this sort of, you see other people like you would see a new dress shirt or something, and that's kind of like what we've been reduced to now.
Yeah.
Everything is transactional. Any kind of meaning derived from your role in society is from like how much money you're making or what you're like contributing to like the economy or something.
Yeah.
And it sort of infiltrated our own personal relations.
And we consider like self-care, getting nice things for ourselves.
Nursing,
Yeah, exactly.
nursing yourself.
And,
with these nice things. Very good.
No, and like I think self-care too, like there's a huge self-care market these days where I don't know if you've ever been like bombarded by self-care ads or like different help books and stuff. And it's not really like designed to make you like more true to yourself or more of like a better friend or a better partner to other people. It's mostly just to like repress what you're going through and to make yourself more marketable and functional in like the workforce.
Yeah, they telling you like this is how you should feel and how you should act and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than like actually sort of processing like why, because like the reason if you're depressed is probably like a political dimension to it. Like if you're not depressed, you're probably a bit of a sociopath.
Okay.
I'm saying like I think there's a reason why there's like a huge spike in mental illness and just death because like there's a political dimension to it. There's a it's not just there's something wrong with your brain. You're responding to like the social environment.
And when he says political, I think you mean not like actual like politicians, but like the actual interactions between people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
Your
mean?
relationship to like power and like the economy and other people and
how politics plays into our
Like your
our personal lives.
Your political
exactly.
workplace, your friend circle, your music group, like scene. I don't hate that word, but you know what I mean. Like the politics of those communities too.
And you hear people say like, oh, like, why do you have to make everything political? And it's like, everything is political. Everything that you interact with, every person that you see, every like idea that you have, there is like a political dimension to it.
They think about where you work.
Yeah, exactly. And that has like a huge impression on your mind and how you view other people. Like you view other people as, what can they do for me?
How can I step on that?
Yeah. How can I dominate them? How can I get them to give me something? How can I get them to give me something that I want by giving them like the minimal amount of what they want?
Capitalism.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly like this type of capitalism that we're in, but I know we're in politics off limit, but like that
Hey,
is.
yo, you can keep talking about that.
Except the first.
Yeah. But so I think that's a huge thing about self-care. Also, like all the track names are like particularly like bougie, unnecessary commodities, and just going into like just the things we fetishize and the relationships we fetishize rather than like searching for like a meaningful relationship.
Yeah.
Well, it's a really cool theme. A lot of bands like they try to do themes and they just kind of fall apart, but it honestly all this works so well together. It's done really, really well.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Like I didn't know what the theme was going in, but like helps that I'm reading like fucking commie literature all the time. That kind of influenced it. But I've had like so many projects where you have a theme going in and it just isn't that on the other side. And like that's kind of cool too. Like you go in with one concept and it kind of falls apart and like what you get is what you get.
Yeah, keep it loose.
I think don't ever get so worried about like we need to stick to the concept and like we need to make sure that everything is like this neat jewel of ordered concepts, because like that's definitely going to screw up the sort of natural
We're also
creative
chaotic.
process.
It's chaotic music.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
needs to be an
Just sort of
chaos in there.
Yeah, that's the sort
Well, you
of
say
like,
this, but your whole like thing is one concept, like totally one concept.
Yeah, but we could have done a lot more with the whole theme, like especially within the lyrics themselves. Like I tried not to be too overtly like political in the lyrics, like just with the track. Like there is like some sort of message to them, but I wanted like for someone to just look at the individual song, they would say like, "Oh, this is about like a fucked up relationship," and not really know why. Because I feel it just gets like too preachy.
Yeah.
I've tried that with needle play, and like it resonates with some people, but I don't think it would resonate with me if I listening to it for the first time.
Yeah, the message is kind of like the themes between the lines.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, sometimes it's overt, but like for the most part, you just try to have like let the listener determine, what take away what they want to take away.
So Keith Urban in the chat, I don't know if you know who he is. He says, "Hello, nursing boys, miss you."
yeah, he's a singer of Will's Jacks, right?
Yeah.
He's a singer. Not his real name.
Is that Keith
Keith
Urban?
Urban.
Keith Urban.
That's not his real
That is
name.
such
I don't
a
know if
great-
you noticed that.
What's his real name?
No, that's awesome.
Cricket Slams also says bass drops aren't loud enough. While they're loud, they could be louder. True, but then there's a point where it's too loud.
I'll make
I was re-listening to it. Like I listened to it like 3 times today, and they're pretty fucking loud, man. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have had them as loud as they are. So who did the artwork?
So for the cover, it's this woman, Vivian Arthur.
Let me see if I can find
And
her.
her handle on her Insta handle is This Heretic Flesh. She's awesome. I just met her from like just being on an Instagram like surreal collage group, and she posted somebody posted some of her work, and it was cool because it's like really dark and it had like this kind of retro vibe to it, like almost like a vaporwave vibe, but it was also very dark and surreal and tasteful. So I hit her up and I was like, "Hey, can we use some of your art for can we just sort of modify it a bit?" And she that's how I really get all my art, is I just sort of scour Instagram, and then I ask certain people if they, and most of the times they'll never even respond, but like every once in a while, and I'm always like kind of amazed when they respond, because I'm like, why would you even? Some of them are like really popular. So the guy who did the disc art, which is also the art for the first single, that dude is like fucking huge. He's very like well-known artist in like the sort of dark macabre art in the surreal world. And I reached out to him thinking like, there's no fucking way this guy's gonna even respond. He responded in like 2 minutes, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, you don't have to pay me anything as long as I don't have to do anything extra. Just take one of my pieces, give me credit in the," and I was like, "Holy shit!"
The picture you're talking about is gray and black, kind of faceless. That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one.
Oh, yeah, I think we can get it up on stream.
Oh yeah.
I had the album art up, but
I think it's really cool to have artists, get artists to do to be on your CDs and stuff, because now you're supporting other artists too.
Right.
The Insta for the original artist.
Yeah.
It's at RFPANGBORN.
He's
RF Pangborn.
he's great.
Yeah. He's got some crazy stuff in
Yeah,
here.
it is pretty sick looking, man. I really like the collage art. That's my thing, man. Shit's so good. But y'all also did made a piece yourself. You got this mannequin sitting there in the background.
Right. So we have a practice space out in Charlestown, and that building is also a storage space. So there's always these like junk removal trucks. And one day we're leaving practice, and I see a foot sticking out of it. And certain stores will close. Sears, Lord & Taylor close. And I'll always try to buy a mannequin, but I'm not going to spend that money. So I see the mannequin, And Tyler, our singer and needle play, I'm like, Tyler, get that mannequin. And he's just like, and just climbs the truck and pulls this whole ass mannequin out. And then we put it in my van, and like we live in a nice neighborhood with like lots of like new families, and we're just like carrying this fucking house to the suburb, and it's just it's so funny.
Our neighbors hate us.
We don't know our neighbors. No one talks to each other.
I know they hate us.
I just got a motorcycle.
Taking out of his van at like 11 p.m. and he's like, "Let's try it out." And just,
I drove to Connecticut, put a motorcycle in the minivan because we have the van for touring and stuff. And
yeah,
all motorcycles fit, believe it or not. Yeah, you get but yeah.
Did you have to go through trial and error to figure that out?
Yeah, the guy who was helping me, luckily he was really knowledgeable. At least one of us was knowledgeable about this situation. I pulled up to the house and I was like, that's too big. I was like, why did I think that I could fit that in my van? But we made it happen, you know, so.
Oh, that's sick. So do y'all have like any music videos planned or anything like that? Or are y'all just going to move on to new material?
Yeah, I think we're trying to do some sort of music video for, I don't know if it's going to be like just like a live sort of, just a video of us playing through a song live, or if I could do some sort of like weird visual thing, but I want to do something for self-care. And we'll probably, cause like I don't know, with the music video, it's like, I really don't want to half-ass it. I feel like a half-ass music video is worse than just no music video.
You definitely want a whole ass it.
Yeah, you want a whole ass video.
Asshole.
Because it has like such a lasting impression on people. And if it sucks, then they're just going to assume, like, just sort of project that onto all your work.
Right.
So I'd rather just like chill with that for now, and then either have a good one or just move on to the next one. But I'll try to do something. I'd like to do some sort of like retro-y, sort of like 80s feel to it in some way.
Some neon pink in there.
Yeah.
We gotta get that theme in there. That would be good.
You and Jonathan do a playthrough, I'm sure, something like that.
Yeah.
Just like some sort of visual thing. I mean, I think we have a video of practice up on
Hydrangea or something.
Yeah, we could do it. We could do a playthrough.
Would be cool.
Yeah.
Cricket Slam says that he wants both of your shirts. They don't have any shirts, my man. But are y'all like thinking about making some, or?
What we're wearing right now.
Oh, I figured for the band, but yeah, maybe it's the ones that you're wearing right now. I'm not really sure. Okay.
You can't. This is my shirt, but
You can't have a particular shirt.
you can go to Matt's Bandcamp and
Or,
wear your
yeah.
own shirt.
What about nursing shirts? Are y'all like thinking about making those?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll try to get on that. And it's all pretty much new, so I don't know. And it's so fucking expensive to do all
He
that
does
stuff.
clarify the ones that y'all are wearing. But again, those are their shirts. Cricket Slams can't have those.
Nursing shirts too. So when
Yeah, we'll give you a free nurse.
if we're talking about shows, maybe when shows are.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. We bought a bunch of no play shirts, and then we would be at shows and we would just like give them to people. And we were like, all right, well, we have made none of our money back. But, like,
You're supposed to sell those, my man.
there would be someone come on and be like, oh man, dude,
I've probably
You're like, here,
traded-
man, here, have a shirt. Like,
I've probably traded a
Do
few
that
Needle
enough
Play
times.
shirts for like other bands that we played with.
yeah.
So you guys dropped this through Dark Trail Records. Is this the first time that y'all have put something out through a label?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Dark Trail, yeah, is technically is the first label I've ever been associated with.
What's the experience been like?
It's pretty chill, man. I mean, dude, Christian, shout out to Christian.
He's great.
He super fucking professional.
Yeah.
Once he sort of is like into something, he just like takes it, and he honestly like really did everything, any kind of like promotion or write-ups. He just did that all himself, and he's balancing like a million fucking things right now. So I was like, I don't know, he's really good to work with, and he like sincerely loves the mathcore scene and just all the bands that, like, I feel like Christian does not ever promote a band that he does not like 100% fuck with.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it definitely shows. Like he clearly loves what he's doing. He's really good at it. We were talking like the day of the premiere, and he just asked me like a few questions about the album, and he did that write up in like fucking like 10 minutes, and it was like something from like the New York Times or something. It's like, wow, you're right, good writer. It was something he just pulled out of his ass. It was really impressive. But yeah, it's been great. I love Dark Trail. I love all the bands that are associated with them.
I think it's a good fit. For
That's
sure.
been my experience as well with Christian. Really solid guy. What's the reaction overall for the album's been? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you got completely cut off. What were you saying?
I've never met him. I've known him for like years now. And I feel like we're so tight, but like I've never actually met him in person.
Same.
But I love him, and I would kill for him.
Alrighty. So, what's the reception to the album been so far?
People are liking it.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty good. We don't really have like an audience or like a lot of fans right now. We like just started from scratch, and but so far, yeah, people have really liked it. Like my parents, not so much. I sent it to them, and they were like, "Are you okay?"
My schizophrenic uncle literally said, "This music is what it sounded like inside my head when I was in the psychiatric hospital."
I guess that's a compliment. That's a compliment.
That's the greatest compliment.
That's a high compliment there.
Yeah.
So you guys have been alluding to it a little bit. I assume that there's plans to bring this to the stage. You gonna do some live shows?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
I hope so.
The one thing I didn't like about Self Care is that we had program drums. I fucking hate program. I just love live.
Well, now we have John.
Yeah,
so-
John. So our drummer who's not here is fucking nasty. He's real good, and he's very like. So I was, because I didn't. So John and I are like sort of in another side project, and he hadn't been playing for like all of COVID. And he was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do it. So he had this like tryout. I was like, I think you'll be just
And he was unreal.
Yeah.
I haven't played in a long time.
Blasted
Yeah,
1 million
yeah,
miles an hour,
yeah.
like, perfectly in time.
with like the poly meter that he's doing. He does like the sort of animals as leaders where like one arm is in 3 and another arm is in like 7.
Yeah, like you'll
It's
have like,
crazy.
a riff. He'll count out like how many like beats per section, like the time signatures for each section, and then you'll play through it, and he'll just like riff over those changes because he's counting it, and he'll just like play like chops and stuff, and he'll just like vary it up each time. It's insane.
He's in another project,
Crazy.
Omnia, that I don't know if they have anything recorded, but we played with them with Needle Play, and they're really good too.
Yeah, Omnia is right
Omnia's
there.
sick. They're a bunch of cool guys too.
Yeah.
A bunch
Is
of-
that AMNIA?
So I think they're actually. So
Oh,
I'm like
yeah.
technically in Omnia right now. I replaced their other guitar player, but like because of COVID, it kind of threw shit off. But we're like trying to get back into it right now, and like we're hoping to kind of like rebrand and like change the name and stuff. The same lineup, and yeah, like just they're fucking nasty.
I would love for them to record.
Really like very technical people.
The bassist is amazing. They're all really,
Yeah,
all really
guitar
good at
player
what
is
they do, yeah.
amazing. They're all like very like creative people. I didn't want to join another project because one of their other guitar player left, and I was like sort of made a rule that I'm not doing any other project because I'm not sleeping. But then Omnia hit me up, and I was like, I can't say no to these guys. They're so good. But so he's in that project, our drummer. Yeah, they're like well, I guess we are sort of like working on an EP right now. Hopefully it'll be out in a few months.
Oh,
That'd be
that sounds
awesome.
sick.
Yeah.
So you guys are also all in Needle Play. Townie's one of my most anticipated albums. When is this happening?
Fuck if I know. No,
So
we're actually like kind of aggressively, but it was COVID really that kind of threw us off. Like we were getting on a very, we had a ton of momentum. We were playing shows like every other week, And then COVID happened. Our other guitar player moved to New York. We had like just a bunch of shit happen and different people's lives. And like we're trying to like really get back to it now. So like it's pretty much written.
So wait, the other guitarist is gone now? He's not in the band anymore?
No,
He's in the band.
He just moved to
New York, so we're just like doing file sharing.
Yeah, so COVID really fucked up Needle Play in that we got Metal Album of the Year for Boston Music Award. We were gonna play Mathcore. We played that live, and we were gonna play with a band, Seizures, which are unbelievable.
Awesome. I love that.
And like that would have been so good for us. So like we want to retain as much of that momentum as we can, but unlike with nursing, we're all writing our own parts individually, and that can be more time consuming than, because like these two guys are quick, like they're unbelievable, you know what I mean? And like you said, the less people that are working on something, the more the entire party of one is, you know, connected, because it's just one person or two people. So like with Needle Play so separate right now, it's just taking a little bit more time. But I definitely I anticipate us to play Needle Play sets too with Townie songs. You know what I mean? Because we are learning them. So I'm excited for that. And, you know, I don't know when it will come out. So
It's definitely like the hardest material.
it's definitely,
Yeah.
it's
Like,
definitely an insane
It's
album.
really hard to like write for, and it's really hard playing it. So
Are y'all
Yeah.
still in the writing process for Townie, or is it already recorded?
So I mean, the problem is this: is like I've had probably 3 versions of Townie at this point, and then like, thing will happen, and then I'll be like, "Fuck it, we just gotta like
I want to say
take out these songs and like I'm rewriting this." But it's definitely my fault.
I want to say something here. So Tony is a prolific writer, and that is like
he writes all the time.
it's an amazing thing, and it's very good. So, but what it is that like he's writing so much that like I can't keep up sometimes. You know what I mean? And so like we have the guitar written for Townie, and it's pretty much solidified.
Yeah,
and
all the
so-
guitars recorded.
Yeah, so the songs exist as they are, the lyrics, and I think Tyler's doing the lyrics, right? He's going to,
The
but like,
drums are written too.
yeah. So the drums are written. He's super diligent right now about it, and like, so the songs are already written. They're just like I'm finishing up with the bass. You know what I mean? I've been
Yeah.
writing bass for
I have a
nursing
few
now too.
piano things I gotta finish.
He's doing piano. I don't know where Tyler's at, and Steve I think is in grad school, or did he graduate?
No, he got a new job.
Yeah, he got a new
He got a job.
His girlfriend's in
is
grad school.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
he's
has
the one.
like a real life, and so it's hard. You know what I mean? He's like a legitimate person, so it's
fake.
Yeah.
not like our fake lives.
No, it's tough. It's really tough. It's like we all used to live together, like and we used to live, and then like Steve lived very close to us as well. And so it's easier when you're constantly seeing each other to be like, hey, did you get that done? Like, can you get me that done? But when you're removed, you kind of like forget about it, and you're like, I don't want to be that asshole who's like constantly pestering people about like they'll get it done when they get it done. But
Yeah,
Right.
it's just when you have 6 people and they're all working on their own schedules, it just takes forever.
and
And then I keep rewriting everything.
this is how you
So
we're also moving towards a very collaborative writing process with Needle Play, which would involve us all being in the same room, which now is like a difficulty because, like you said, we have our own schedules. We interact with a lot of different people. We all work in different places. We don't live together anymore. So there's all this logistical stuff that's like holding it up, but it is in the works, and you know, the sooner the
yeah, Heath and I are finally getting to a point where we're like, we have written it and we are like putting it all together and getting the stems ready. We're gonna try to have Kevin from Backroom Studios to mix it for us. But like we want to have everything everything ready for him before we send him anything, before we like really schedule anything. But like we're all gonna record it ourselves and then just have him. We were supposed to go record with him, but again, that was like before COVID.
Yeah.
Travel is not allowed.
Yeah.
Is Backroom Studios the one with a dude from Dillinger?
Yeah,
He's
he's fantastic.
He
He's
did
really
number
cool.
12s.
He does Thin is a band that we play with. I really love Thin.
I think it was a different guy, but it's at that studio.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe
they're at Backroom Studio, but yeah.
They had another great
Thin is fantastic.
Thin is fantastic. You're right.
band. One of those it's just like it's like artsy grindcore. You know what I mean? I can't really describe it.
Yeah, it's I actually interviewed them. I would say it's like bright grindcore, like not happy, but like I don't know, mood lifting, I guess. I don't know. Hard to describe.
Yeah. I get happy with music like that anyway, but they're the sweetest guys, and it's so funny because they're so cordial and nice, and they go on stage and it's a different story, and I love to see that. Like, I love to see that come out, and playing this music live is just like so therapeutic.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? I never feel better than after a show. Just
I had listened to Thin's first release, and it's like pretty punishing. It's way more punishing than Dawn. I invited them to come play a show with us up here in Boston, and it was all like via email, so I hadn't met any of them. And I'm expecting like huge like Norse god, fucking dudes, and like I meet them and I'm like, is this the right band? Like, is this the right Thin?
We played the Tip with them.
Yeah,
and so that's a local, like a basement.
You see them like on the end of the bar, and you're like, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
yeah. These guys, there's no way they made it. And then they go on stage.
They're like, yeah, absolutely, they made this. Yeah, it was
really good live band.
One more thing I wanted to touch on with the merch. Do you have any plans for vinyl?
Oh yeah. I'm definitely trying to do vinyl for self-care.
Okay.
She's got CDs right now, and then I'll have to talk with him about vinyl, or I don't know, maybe I can go through, just do it myself. But I'd like to have some kind of vinyl for it.
Okay. And you can get CDs through Dark Trail Records, darktrailrecords@bandcamp.com, if anybody's interested. So we have a question that we ask everybody here. How do you dress your hot dogs? I think I might have asked y'all last interview with Needleplay, but just in case, let's get it covered here.
How do we dress our hot dogs?
I'll go first.
For work?
For work? Yeah.
Yeah. How do you dress your hot dog?
Well, I don't use condom personally. No, I like relish, sauerkraut, chili. I want that thing to be soup. I don't even want to see the bread.
Alrighty.
If I have to eat it without a spoon, then it's not a hot dog for me. I don't even want to see the hot dog.
Yeah.
Put it in a can of beans. That's
Wait,
really
you
good.
put a can of beans on there?
Chop that hot dog up and put it in a can of beans.
Okay.
Like if
You shotgun it.
That's a completely different thing, though. That's pork and beans right there.
Well, I wouldn't call a hot dog pork. That would be disrespectful to pigs.
Nice.
All right, you're next.
Yeah, I like having like a nice neat hot dog where there's Heinz ketchup on one side and then Heinz mustard, yellow mustard on the other side, and
Nice.
we perfectly
I
balanced.
see how this question reflects us.
And then if the two condiments touch before I eat it, I throw up what I've already eaten and float against the wall. I have to try it again.
You
I'll go through like 45 hot dogs.
Try and cut.
Yeah,
For each
exactly.
time you mess up on. Let's see. Yeah, I like nice like red hot like cocktail dresses. I like mayo and like some spicy aioli or something on my
You
hot
put
dog.
mayo on your hot dog?
Yeah, it's fucking good.
Do you really?
I like mayo, and I just like to like put it all over the inside of the bun and then just stick the hot dog in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's not a bad idea. I never thought about putting it on the bread first and then throwing the hot dog in. I like that.
Logistically, that is the way you got to do it. I mean,
We
you can't
learned
do
a lot this
You can't like do it like on the commercial.
We learned what
Doesn't
gear
work.
scalloping was.
Learned about
We
hot
learned
dogs.
about different hot
Nice
dog
hot dog routine.
Do you know at 7-Eleven, chili comes out of the spigot? It's just you press the button and chili just comes out. That's healthy. That's healthy.
Sounds so bad.
Put it in your pants, just like go right up to it.
You can just cut out the middleman and shoot it right into the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So what was the last album you guys listened to?
No, you guys go first.
Okay. I listened to I think Mother of Red Light by I think that's the only name. Meth. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That one's a good one.
That album is phenomenal.
Yeah, I was gonna say just good, just pretty good. Like, come on.
It's an amazing record.
That album is an experience of like sort of a psychosis.
And it feels like
association.
it feels like a story going.
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
Everything about it just feels like a journey.
Yeah.
So
I saw those guys live up in Lowell. It was awesome.
Oh
I
shit.
I wish I
Dude,
went.
the problem is they were at a venue that they had like 6 members.
Uncharted.
They're at this venue, Uncharted, which was like a little too small. It has a glass like wall, and it's all windows on one of the sides. It was like really shitty for
Weird.
acoustic. And I had listened to their stuff like religiously at that time, and I was like so looking forward to hearing the songs that I know. And they went on, and it was just like the whole time. Like I couldn't, and I didn't have earplugs, so I was just like deafening blast of like madness. I couldn't like make out what the songs were because
Yeah.
I was like right up front and just getting bombarded by like 6
Uncharted.
different monitors.
Uncharted can get really loud, like no matter where you are in the
Yeah.
entire building. It's a small rectangular room with a bar at the end. But it's great for like acoustic, like Lowell indie bands will play there and like you'll be able to hear a lot more. But I can imagine. I wish I went that night.
Yeah,
But
no, they're great, and like even like despite that, it was a fucking awesome experience. Like they really fucking feel their music.
what
And
was your album?
So yeah, what was the last time you listened to?
I just listened to the new Portrayal of Guilt. I think it's We Are Always Alone. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's a very good one.
That's fucking awesome. Those guys are like, I didn't realize there was just 3 people. This sounds so full.
Yeah,
Again,
they
like,
kill it, man.
yeah. And their drummer is nasty. But yeah, that's one of those albums that they're like technical to a degree, but it's like so theatrical. Like it just feels like a whole like movement in itself, and it really captures
You have a
you.
really big sound.
Same with Meth, like they're very similar bands in terms of like just building the soundscape and like building a mood and really like pulling you into their crazy shit.
Hmm.
By you.
So the last album that I was listening to, like that's such a tough question for me because I'm always like putting on totally different random stuff. Like on the way home from work, I was listening to Amy Winehouse, and then there's a new album that came out by
You listening to something that wasn't metal?
I know. You know, I
He's
have
kicked out of the band. Come on, get out of here.
yeah. So I listen to all different kinds of music. I actually hate metal. Metal sucks. I don't even listen to it.
Yeah.
But
You have to listen to it to be tough.
yeah, I know.
Really.
But I mean, I do like, you know, I'm listening to a lot of Tony Danza lately. I know they're not new or anything, but I don't know. They're just really good.
So
I like,
groovy.
yeah, they are very cohesive for like a heavy band. And
Which album's
I
your
just-
favorite?
so I don't know like words and stuff. Like the one with the I don't
You
know.
don't know words and stuff, okay?
The one with the hearse on the front, like the big wheels, a big monster truck. That one's really cool. I think it's one of their older ones.
That's their debut.
Yeah, that's the one that I really like. But yeah, dude, like when it comes to music, like I'll just put something on and like not read the names of songs and stuff. So I'm really shit
I'm the
at
same
like
way.
knowing what album it was on, and you know, I don't even like half the time I don't even know the band members' names and shit. You know what I mean? And like I don't want to sound like all like hippie or whatever, but like I'm in it for the music. You know what I mean? Like I just like the music. I like to listen to it. I don't know facts. You know, I don't know words. That's what I mean. I don't know what I meant by that. And very like I said, I'm like the family fucking dog. You know what I mean? I like put the TV on when you leave.
It's just static.
You know,
It's my favorite show.
Dude, you heard this new band. It's like you actually didn't pay for cable. That's just
Yeah.
static. It's-
Good.
So what about your album of the year, either for last year or leading up to this point this year?
I don't know if I have an album of the year per se, but in 2020 there was a EP that I really loved that I jam all the time. It's called Bend the Rules, and it's by an artist named Anomaly. He's like a jazz fusion electronic guy. He plays piano. He's amazing at piano, like super tasty and like well articulated lines. Amazing live show. I really want to see him. And he did sort of the instrumentals, and then he had one of the vocalists from this project, this band, Chromeo, do the vocals, and it's like very like kind of poppy, spacey, like synthy jazz, and it just grooves really hard. And it's, if you really pay attention, like the harmony and like the rhythms and the changes going on, it's just like got a lot of like depth and complexity to it. You can tell, and that's like Anomaly and his crazy knowledge of jazz. That's one of my favorites.
So I mean, I have a bunch that I actually wrote down a few like newer bands that like aren't as big right now that like really influence self-care. Geisterführer, who is a grindcore band from Mass, actually. They're from Walpole.
Yeah, we've played with them.
Yeah, they're fucking nasty and like very evil, just like an evil cat. Yeah, they're sweet guys. Like, they definitely plug them.
They had a really sick set for Mathcore Index Fest. I really dug that.
Yeah. No, that was fucking awesome. That was my favorite set, I think.
My favorite one was the Black Matter device where they were actually trying to do it live.
Yeah. I really didn't have a favorite, but like that one really stood out. That was one of the early ones, and I was like, "This is awesome."
Oh yeah.
There's another band, Void Bloom, who are also from Mass. Our friend Dan plays guitar for that band. He's like, and our other friend Billy is a vocalist. And then his drummer is
fucking Deafy.
I don't remember the drummer. I'm so sorry.
from Mouth Breather, right?
Nick?
Nick, yeah. Is this the drummer? Yeah.
He's the drummer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Nick.
Yeah, they're it's like sort of it's like art deathcore. Like if Thin is art grindcore, Void Bloom is art death. It's like artsy deathcore. And it's like really creative and really heartfelt and like really good performances and stuff. It's and they're awesome.
I don't think I've ever really listened to them. I need to check them out.
Yeah, definitely check out the list.
So is Massachusetts like the capital of mathcore or something? Why are there so many good bands around there?
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Baltimore is really pop. Like, there's good music coming out of there right now.
Baltimore was the only show that we played where it was like a mathcore show.
Yeah.
Like not a show with mathcore bands, but it was like these people came to see strictly mathcore bands.
And I peeked at your list. One of the bands that we played there was with Under the Pier.
Yeah.
And
well, I hadn't heard until that night.
Yeah, they
awesome.
were amazing.
And then the release that they put out after, Puff Piece, is so good.
Yeah. They're really
those
cool.
guys are awesome.
I keep in touch with their. We talk all the time, on Messenger and stuff.
Yeah,
all
awesome
the time.
guy.
But like, he's really cool. It's
Really good drummer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And his thing is like don't overload your drums too much. Like just kind of hold back and have like what fits. And that actually was like pretty helpful for a lot of like how I program drums for self-care. Was instead of just like bombarding it with like fucking snare hits and crazy shit, it's sort of like focusing on more
intentional.
Yeah.
Great.
So shout out to them.
Yeah.
Wilsey X, they're not from Mass, but they're from New Hampshire.
They're great though.
Fucking awesome band. Like that's one of the bands that got me really into pedals because they have like 4 million pedals.
Yeah.
And but they're really very
go see them live.
Yeah, go see them live.
See them live. They're unreal.
Awesome dudes.
Yeah.
And they're really
awesome.
cool. Yeah. And they have a lot of projector show stuff going on.
Oh,
they're
that's
just
sick.
Their live
projectionist.
show is like just this whole experience that you just need to go check
It's like
out.
an acid trip gone south, but you're enjoying.
I'm pretty sure they're all acid.
Yeah.
Right now.
Every moment.
Dude, that's sick. I need to check. Dude, I've heard the EP, but I never like saw any like live footage or anything. I need to check that out.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like, I love their release, but like, it's so hard to capture their live
The experience of
performances. It
listening
really is
live.
something totally else. And there's a visual component as well to these projectors.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's sick. That's a great band to see live.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And last band on my list, well, besides Fond Limbs, we talked about Fond Limbs.
We steal everything from
Steal
them.
basically Fond Limbs.
We're diet fond limbs.
Yeah, exactly. And is Pillar of Wasps. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Oh yeah. They're from around here. I think they're from Dallas actually.
Yeah, they have like, I think they only have like a few tracks out, but I was listening to them and it was like, they really play with just like noise, just like bombarding you with noise. And it's so like, it's like you're entering hell, or it's like you're entering a pillar of wasps. Like,
Yeah.
it's just chromatic and crazy. And, yeah, they don't have a lot of material. I'd really like to see them do like a full, like professionally produced, like full length. But what they have out is like pretty sweet. I would definitely.
Dude, I love the way that you talk about music, Tony. Like, I don't know, I never heard anybody that really like can encapsulate like what bands are about.
You gotta cry.
You
gotta cry, man.
Let those emotions come from your eyes. You can take one thing away from this interview.
Come from your eyes.
I see that
All
on
three
shirt.
viewers
All
right
three
now.
viewers, come from your eyes right now. You'll feel better.
Come from your eyes. So, what about you, Pete?
Oh, album of the year?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else's were so good. I don't know.
It's like this
Confidence in
album.
yourself.
Well, no, there's
Wow.
I don't really have like an album of the year. You know, I've been listening to like all of like some older stuff. Like I have definitely like a backlog, and then like I'm like one of those people who just like listens to the fucking same shit all the time. Like my oldies, you know, not oldies, but like my oldies. You
What
know,
are your
but,
oldies?
just like honestly, like
Grateful Dead.
yeah, I love the Dead. No, I seriously do. They're like unreal if you're on acid. If you're not, then it's kind of like okay. But so I love Modest Mouse. You know what I mean? And Mars Volta and At the Drive-In were big like early, you know, like influences for me. And like let's see, I don't know who else. You know what I listen to is Mindless Self-Indulgence. I listened to them the other day. Just like a bunch of crazy
I
shit.
remember them from way back in the day, dude. All those emo people were really into it.
So bad. You know what I mean? But like, there's a nostalgia factor there. You know, I'm definitely complacent in my search for
Like
new
Sleep.
music. I love Sleep
Yeah,
Sculptor.
he's
Like,
always
I
been
really
really
do.
nice.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Like Sleep Sculptor, I'll put on a lot. I like Dance Gavin Dance. You know what I mean? I don't want to say they're a guilty pleasure, but these guys, I don't know if they like that shit. But
Yeah.
they're good. They're well composed, and I like the singing. I don't care. You know, I was alive in 2005. I remember that. I remember how it was on Live Journal. You guys had a Live Journal?
My journal. I did not. I had a Zanga at one point.
Oh shit! But yeah, I'm just like I'll listen to that stuff. Like a lot of Daughters. I mean, these guys show me a lot of music. You know what I mean? So there's certain stuff, and I'm the type of person who will grab something that I like and hold on to it, and like that's my thing now. Like this is like small circles, you know. And so I am trying to branch out, but
I got you.
yeah, there's video game music is really good. I was saying earlier, you
Yeah.
know, I'm a freaking dork, but
You've been making your own videos.
I have like, yeah, that's probably the next segment is we're gonna plug, so we can talk about that after. It's really nothing. You'll never hear it, so it's fine.
Go ahead and plug it because we're near the end right now.
No, I mean, I actually just I'm just doing some like solo video game stuff, like development and coding and modeling. But I do write music for that. But you probably won't. It's not a plug. It's just like that's like what I'm also doing on the side besides this.
Okay. Well, that's about all I had to talk about. If y'all have anything y'all want to bring up.
Well, you guys have shit to plug.
You have shit to plug?
Not at the moment. Like really. I mean,
my fiance and we have our project that we're trying. It's sort of like chill Mac DeMarco-y, sort of spacey, like beach rock stuff. And we're trying.
Oh, you're being serious. I thought that your like project was gonna be like having a kid or something. Okay, I get you.
No, she sings. She sings and plays drums.
Yeah, I know. It's a
Really?
lot.
That's sick.
And like it's new for her, but like she's catching on really quickly. She's never done any kind of like recording before, but she's very talented and like really enthusiastic, really good writer, like really good at writing lyrics, and has like good taste in music. But
we're actually making good music for once.
Yeah. Actually, we're listening to like stuff I can show my family members. Like, okay. This is actually like technically music.
This is more like Taylor Swift than your other project.
That's sick, man. Do you have a name for it?
It's called Wait for Trauma.
Wait for Trauma. Ready. And you don't have anything out yet, right?
No. We're writing our first album now. We're gonna try to
Look.
remind you up, Chris.
Hey, I'd be down.
Yeah, I think I had mentioned it before for like other stuff. And that would be the. But anyway, we'll talk offline.
But yeah, do y'all have anything else I want to bring up, or should we move on to the outro?
Well, thank you for producing the album, man.
Yeah, dude.
Good job.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
hell yeah. Thanks for letting me do it, man. Like, I've been wanting to get into mixing and mastering for a while, and, you know, it's great to finally get it out.
We were producing it, and then I kept sending you stuff to be like, oh, what do you think about this? And you're like, dude, just let me fucking do it. I'll do it for you for free. Just like, this is not good enough. And I appreciate it. Yeah, you were willing to do it for like nothing. And I was like, fuck, I gotta pay this guy something.
So that was the first time thing. First one's free. This guy does make money.
Yeah.
Pay him for his work.
Yeah.
Pay this man.
Pay this man for his work.
Just pay this man. Just because.
Just pay.
Your Venmo just starts blowing up.
Well, I appreciate that. For real, though, I've been trying to like, get into it, and it's cool to like finally be able to say, hey, I did this thing that's not my own stuff. So that's nice to be able to do that. So if you're looking for that dirty grind with surprisingly beautiful moments, you should check out Nursing's debut album, Self Care, which dropped last Friday through Dark Chill Records. You guys are on Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp. You're on all the streaming platforms. Are there any other plugs? Oh, you got a YouTube, Nursing MA, right?
Yeah.
Is there any other plugs that we're missing?
No, that should be it.
Alrighty. As for me, drop my channel follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube, as well as some exclusive emotes. If you find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. YouTube folks, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, tickle the notification bell, and subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Find my music at thesoundthatinspiration.bandcamp.com. My next guest is Kentucky-based cybergrind legend Jonah Thorne of Second Grade Knife Fight, who dropped 2 ridiculous EPs back in February. Join us this Sunday the 28th at 7 p.m. Central for the live cast. Thanks for being here, guys. Hope you had a good time.
Thank you so much for having us. It was awesome.
Hell yeah. And thank you guys for watching and listening.